Oh, yes, everybody. Can you feel it? It is a game day morning edition of the Flex Network. We are live. This is one of our own here. I can play this music. I have full ability to play this music live here. As we get going, let's just vibe out to this music and let's get ready to rock.
Do you think that Sez is still playing that set right now live in New York City?
Sometimes I feel like Sez doesn't stop.
I don't think he stops.
He doesn't stop at all. And of course, we talk about one at Alan Seslowski. We are sorely missing him.
Yeah.
Sully. Yee. Yes, Sully. What's going on, brothers? Good morning. This is the Flex Network's co-comprised morning start sit show that we flex with all of you and all of us here to be joined live, partnered with RosterWatch. Right now, RosterWatch is on air, Sirius XM, and they have endowed, it might not be the right word for
blessed us. Let's say blessed us.
Blessed us with the opportunity to come on a co-branded start sit. Get your pro memberships at rosterwatch.com. And if you didn't know, fellas, this week is big. We need to get the wins this week. Some of you are 1-2, 0-3. We want to avoid a real detriment this week, and we are here to help you with all of your questions. At RosterWatch, please go ahead and just go to their podcast right now. Go to the RosterWatch podcast right now and download the Tradecast. It is one of the greatest pieces of fantasy football content out in the industry. Byron Lambert, he will be joining us this morning on a game day edition, week 4, start sits, RosterWatch, X, the Flex Network. We are here. The Tradecast was about an hour and a half long. Just Byron telling you who to maniacally go after. Please follow us at the Flex Network 1. Not only that, but please go to our face or our Twitter, our Facebook, our YouTube page, which we're there. It's either the Flex Network or Flex Network, but follow us on Twitter at the Flex Network 1. Our first comment coming in from Vincent Vega, 99161. What's up, brother? Let me flip these up here just to read this here.
The business.
Just joking. They're not real readers. David Montgomery, DJ Chark, Curtis Samuel, or John Ross. Full point PPR needs to start one, and I'm flexing Curtis Samuel, one of the flex favorites this week.
Yeah, Curtis Samuel. I mean, going up against Houston, I think that he's going to be a good bet to get a touchdown. We all know Kyle Allen can actually throw the damn ball. See, to me, it's actually tough between Chark and Curtis Samuel. I like Chark. Man, right now, he's just rolling, right? But, I mean, you look at the Jacksonville matchup against Denver. It's a 28th ranked matchup on the RosterWatch matchup tool. And Curtis Samuel, man, he's going to roll this week. So I'd roll with Curtis Samuel as well. I like that.
Now, DJ Chark, he's having himself a little mini breakout.
Yes,
next year, I envision that we will be drafting DJ Chark somewhere in the vicinity of the Curtis Samuel next year. He is looking great. The mustache ride over there in Jacksonville really likes the guy. I think he can really connect with him long term. Oh, I see some more comments popping up here. What's up, guys?
We got a bunch.
What's going on? Looking good. Anyway, we got Curtis Samuel there. Look out for a David Montgomery as well this week. John Sullivan, that's our guy. Sully from Houston. Need 3 PPR.
And you're saying this is a 14-team league.
Oh, yep, 14-team league. I see that. What's going on, Andrew Carasquillo? We see you over there. 70 Trooper. Thank you guys for joining in. We will get to you in just a second here. Needs 3 PPR. Mecole Hardman, Hollywood Brown, Chris Godwin, or Will Fuller. Now, here's my thing. If Darius Slay is out, then it's going to be a Sammy Watkins monster. Okay. Sammy Watkins getting somewhere in the vicinity of 10 targets a game. Okay. He's clearly the number one receiver there. And if the number one corner, now you guys, do you not remember this? Okay. The Detroit Lions are undefeated. Undefeated. Not untied, but undefeated. And if Darius Slay there, he's good. He's a good cornerback. He can lock down a good receiver. He can take your good receiver out of the game. I don't like Mecole Hardman this week if Darius Slay is out. If Darius Slay is in, then I like a Mecole Hardman this week. I actually had a question over at the RosterWatch message board about Mecole Hardman, said the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and say here, because Fuller is so hard to Fuller is just so hard to understand and see when he's going to perform well. I would roll off the Mecole Hardman, Hollywood Brown, Chris Godwin.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I mean, Will Fuller, right now, I mean, he's not as consistent every single week. I mean, if you look at the snap counts, touches and targets at RosterWatch.com, he is getting a lot of play. I mean, he is on for 97% of the snaps, which is the same as DeAndre Hopkins. 7 targets last week, but only 5 for 51 against a challenging Chargers defense. But I would still roll with Hardman. I mean, man, he's last week. What did he get? Like 3 for 120 and a touchdown or something close to that. Like, I would go with Hardman. Hollywood Brown right now, he's the guy that you want to lock in and just explode. I mean, Alex was talking about him all day yesterday, and he's just like, he feels like a Tyreek Hill, man. He can just go in there and can actually win you a week. And then Chris Godwin, I mean, right now,
God plus win.
He's got the hip, but I'd say roll with it. So we're going to move on here, Sully.
Look at Andrew Carasquillo looking good without the hat and the fresh cut. Thank you. Look
Always
at these.
Sharp.
Whenever I need to get down real here, and then this is my game day face. Curtis, what is this? Samuel versus Diggs. Is this Curtis Samuel?
It's got to be Curtis because Debo's on a bye.
It's got to be Curtis, right? Curtis Samuel versus Diggs, right?
The reality is, guys, I'm sitting Diggs in all my leagues this week. I've got him in 2 leagues, and both. I don't trust Stephon Diggs right now. It's a low passing volume. And frankly, going up against that Chicago defense, they just absolutely shut teams down right now. Frig, man. The only guy that I'd be like actually comfortable playing, and even then it's a little bit like reluctant, is your Dalvin Cook, just because he's just been absolutely rolling. But man, if you can lock in like Chicago in any of your DFS lineups, I think that every single week you're going to lock down and give you value. So I'm going with Curtis Samuel. I don't trust Stephon Diggs until he does it consistently. What do you think, Maddie?
Yeah, how ridiculous has Stephon Diggs been this year? How ridiculous. Now,
but here,
go ahead.
Can we just, I don't have it in front of me, but I'm going to go with a little bit of time while we talk about this, because Stephon Diggs right now, I would say could be a good guy that you might want to actually target in trades as a buy low. This was a guy that Byron did actually talk about, but he's had a very tough matchup. I mean, this week he's up against Chicago, but following that, he's at New York Giants. He's at Philadelphia, going up against Detroit again, which is a challenging matchup, but then in Washington, Kansas City, Dallas. I mean, after this week, if you guys can just get through this week with Stephon Diggs on my bench, I think that the next couple of weeks he's going to roll, and that's when you want to go and target him. So after this week, I would say he could be a guy that you go in and target, especially after I think it's going to be a challenging day for him against Chicago. So that's one thing I suggest about Stephon Diggs. Don't lose all faith yet.
Don't lose all faith yet. But at RosterWatch, they have their rankings up that they put up here. They have Stephon Diggs ranked at 33 against the expert consensus. They're higher. They're about 6 slots higher than the expert consensus. But they have Curtis Samuel like 4 spots ahead, four spots ahead. So Curtis Samuel, I mean, obviously, and he's buttoned up right there with the DJ Moore. If we can go ahead and put The Allen says, Lowski comment, hold it down, boys. Hey, Shane, can you put back on my share screen and then put me back to the how we were doing it before? Yes, right there.
Oh yeah. So for all you banana hammock boys, you saw the poster. He is, I'm going to reveal it right now, Matt. He is Pleasurehead.
Pleasurehead.
Right now, Al was in New York City last night, DJing it up in a DJ battle. And our boy, man, he moonlights. He's got so many different hats that he likes to wear.
And I like to wear the dance hat right now. Dance off, dance break.
Al, you don't know this, but on Friday night after our podcast, after our Flex Finder podcast, Matt and I were just sitting here chilling to your music, dancing to your music for a solid hour. It was good times, man. It's good times. Let's go, Mike.
Nitro Cold Brew is making a strong recovery this morning. Michael Walters, let's go, boys. Flex Network in the house. Yes, we are. We are here this morning. 70 Trooper, thank you so much for your comment, brother.
Andrew.
Guys, roll them in here, guys, because we are ready here. Andrew Carasquillo. Now, this one right here. This one's going to get me the DFS DK cash question. Cash, Lockett, Kirk, Panthers D, or Marquise Brown, Kirk, Broncos D. Fitz, McLaurin, Chargers, which I'm not too happy about for cash just because of the injury, or Shepard, Kirk, Broncos D. I'm feeling I like the idea of a Kirk. It seems like he's kind of toggling with the Kirk here. Panthers, again, they're going against Houston. I don't love it. For the Panthers D.
The thing is, though, is that Deshaun Watson is prone to taking sacks. So there's one thing where the Panthers D might just get a few sacks. And, man, Tyler Lockett in that Arizona game, man, he's going to eat. The one thing is, it's a cash, which is good, because I think the lock really chalky play this week is going to be a Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett stack. So by locking in Lockett, I think that you're going to protect yourself against the rest of the players in your pool, and it's probably a pretty safe play. I was actually battling back and forth. I mean, this is on DK, so I don't know the pricing as well on DK, but I was going back and forth between a Larry Fitzgerald and a Christian Kirk this morning. I'm still not sure exactly which way I'm going to go. I probably have a little bit of shares of both because I like just game stacking. That Seattle-Arizona game is going to be pretty sick. Marquise Brown, we were talking about him. I mean, any given Sunday, this guy can go and he can get you a lot.
My problem, though, for cash, I don't like Marquise Brown.
He's too boomer bust, right?
Yeah. I like the idea of a Fitz McLaurin Chargers. If McLaurin, he's got
that hammy, he popped up late again, though, right?
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If people are going to be off of him and he catches, he goes for 15 points this week and not even tries, you got Fitzgerald is a real nice cash this week. We love Fitzgerald here. If you have Fitzgerald as a question here for your flex, the answer will be Fitzgerald this week. And thank you again about my new fresh haircut.
So what are we going with here?
Shave. I'm going with the let's just flex out with the Fitz McLaurin and the Chargers.
Okay, so I would say if you're going in a tournament lineup, go with Fitz McLaurin because McLaurin is going to be low owned. But for me, if it's a cash lineup, I'm locking in Lockett and Kirk in the Panthers D.
I also like Shepard Kirk too. I really like Shepard this week with Danny Dimes.
Get your Giants in, man. Get your Giants in.
Awesome.
Show me the money.
Show me the money. Inman or Disley as a flex play. Disley all day. All day.
Going against Arizona.
Inman is basically signed up off the couch, kinda. Not really, but I mean he's a good receiver. We've always known him to be productive when given opportunity. But Disley is ready to show people. Now he's coming off an injury, and we said this all off season. We typically like guys 1 year removed from injury, not just coming off of the injury. But Disley and Russell Wilson seem to have a great connection. They had it last year before Disley got hurt as well. It's taken him some time to get up off the field. Number one matchup to opposing tight ends based off the RosterWatch matchup tool. Let's go Disley this week. Let's flex. That's what we do.
would
We
roll
got
with
to
this.
put
Like,
a tight.
absolutely.
We love tight ends in the flex. We love that. Show me the money. Thank you for your comment, brother. Next, Donald Laster, one of our favorite guests ever. Sony Michel or Wayne Gallman. Wayne Gallman taking over for Saquon Barkley this week. I like that. I like the idea that he wants to show out. I like that. Sony Michel, though, against Buffalo hasn't been amazing.
But he hasn't had to be either, right? I mean, they've been up in these games. And that's the thing. Everybody's like talking about Rex Burkhead as like this high waiver priority to pick up. I think you're going to get trolled, man. Like, the Patriots have been playing Rex Burkhead because they've been comfortable in these games and they're trying to protect Sony Michel. But I think when it comes down to it and they want to win games, I would roll with Michel in those cases. Now, in this particular matchup, Wayne Gallman going against Washington, to me, I think that's going to be a higher scoring game. I think that Danny Dimes, who frankly, he had his showing out last week, they're going to continue to roll this week. I would roll Wayne Gallman in this circumstance just because you can never really trust the Patriots. But, going back to, the season-long outlook for Sony Michel, as they get down to the wire and as they need to continue to win games, I think that they're going to use Sony Michel more and more. So don't despair. This week, roll with Gallman. I mean, you probably went out and spent all that waiver budget on him. I would roll with him and, man, get sick with that Washington Giants matchup.
Now, do you really think that Gallman has stuck around? I want to look at the flex values based on Vegas player props tool that RosterWatch. Alex literally wakes up on a Saturday and spends his entire Saturday calling these bookies and getting these player props. Wayne Gallman plus or minus 50 total yards, 50 rushing yards, 2 receptions, 18 yards in the receiving. His rushing reception total is 69 for an 11.9 point week, which again in DFS is a good value. And season long, do you want to roll with an 11 point guy or who are we going up against here again?
For what? For Gallman?
Yeah, Gallman. Washington. Or who was it?
Sony Michel.
Sony Michel. Let's see if I can find.
I didn't see a prop for Sony Michel.
Sony Michel, not even a prop.
No.
For Sony Michel.
Well, I mean, you've got Rex Burkhead, you've got James White, who's back. Julian Edelman is a little bit banged up, but I mean, man, I think it's going to be low scoring. Those divisional games, Buffalo's got a good defense. The Patriots have a good defense. I think it's going to be low scoring. With Sony Michel, you're going to be banking on that touchdown. Whereas Wayne Gallman, he's going to get more play just consistently throughout the game. Again, Washington isn't exactly the most amazing team. They do have a decent defense, but it is a 14th ranked running back matchup on the week, whereas New England is, that's the 5th. So they've got a decent one. But again, there's just too many options in that backfield. I'm rolling with Gallman. I'm going to flex. Let's move on.
Well, what do you think that Buffalo's going to win at all? Like, do you think that we had talked about this last week, but Buffalo, I just feel like Josh, he's ready to come out gunslinging, guns a-blazing. Smokey Brown might be a nice play this week. What do you think about an upset?
Patriots? So we've already used the Patriots as a survivor pick, and if we had them available, I would absolutely not choose the Patriots this week. According to the RosterWatch matchup tool, the New England Patriots are -7. It's only a 41.5 game total, which means it's going to be low scoring. It's going to be a lot of defense. You know what? This could be an absolute troll game for the Patriots. It just that they always have trouble in Buffalo. So absolutely, the Bills could, squeak out one. It's funny. I pulled it out of my DFS lineup now, but actually originally at the start of the week kind of had Bills defense in there, kind of thinking that it'd be kind of sneaky, get like a quick turnover, maybe for a touchdown. But I would say, no, I think the Patriots are going to handle it, but it's going to be close. We got questions rolling in here, man. Let's move on.
Okay, Andrew Carasquillo, our friend here, season long, I need 3 receivers and a flex. Chark, McLaurin, Diggs, Hardman, Samuel, Darrell Williams. Oof. We like Darrell Williams. I mean, Darrell.
Well, Damien's out. Damien Williams is
Darrell?
out.
Is it Darrell?
I'm not sure what it is, actually. I've heard both. Darrell, Daryl.
3 and a flex. I don't like playing running backs in the flex if I can help it, if you have good receivers here. So let's go. I mean, for me, again, if Darius Slay is out, I don't like Hardman, but if he's in, I would say Hardman. Samuel for sure. Samuel for sure.
Yeah, McLaurin, I would say. So really it's between, you don't think
if
so?
Terry's in, yeah, okay. You know, I'm just worried about.
I just want action in that Giants game.
Yeah, we could, but we have Godwin pretty much everywhere. And I just, I don't know. When do you think Haskins is coming? Do you think that improves things for Terry McLaurin? I mean, they're 0-3. And yeah, they're in games, but I mean, why not put the rookie in? Unless you really feel like he's not ready.
He's averaging, well, he's the first rookie, or like the first rookie in what, like 15 years to average or to get more, at least 60 yards and a touchdown in his first 3 games. I mean, can it really get better for Terry McLaurin dealing with a rookie quarterback? I mean, people hate on Case Keenum, but he's a competent quarterback.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's go Samuel, McLaurin, and Chark.
Yep.
And if Darius Slay is in the game, then go Hardman over Chark. If Darius Slay is out of the game, go Chark. Go Chark. Let's flex.
So we're going to go Chark, McLaurin, Samuel, and then for that flex spot.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, then the flex spot, let's go Diggs, and then switch it out depending on Darius Slay. If he's in the game, go Hardman. If he's out of the game, I think Sammy Watkins is going to get fed. Okay, he's got a second question here. He needs 2 wide receivers, McLaurin, Metcalf, Ross, or Preston Williams. So obviously we're going McLaurin. DK, that's a nice play this week.
Yep.
I think a little bit people are. What do you think about John Ross this week?
Cincinnati Bengals, the Monday night game, going against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who look in disarray right now. I like John Ross, man. I like him. He's getting the targets, and he's a guy that every single week seems like he's made it, man. Like that's it. He's done it.
Yeah.
I mean,
RosterWatch is 7 spots higher on John Ross over expert consensus this week. Terry McLaurin's up there, obviously.
John Ross, DK, 100% of snap percentage last week, 6 targets. I would roll with John Ross. He's getting the touches.
All right, yeah, let's go. Let's go John Ross and Terry McLaurin. I mean, yeah. I like them both. I think they're both great. I think they're fantastic. Okay, number 3. Would you pick up Antonio Brown where available? Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. There's just way too much. In the offseason, a big talk about it, and we've got a couple questions coming up here, guys. We're gonna get there. This is gonna be great.
Get there.
I forgot, but in the offseason, there's a lot of talk about roster spots. So if you've got a guy just hanging out, like right now, Hunter Henry is just eating up so much equity on my bench right now, just waiting for him to come back. I'm acceptant of the fact because it's a tight end, and once he comes back, then I can just slip him right in every week and not have to worry about rostering another one. What?
You love to just slip it in, hey?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. And so, yeah, Antonio Brown cannot eat up valuable waiver wire roster ads because you're sitting around waiting for some dude to get you somewhere, which even if he did come back, where would he go? Where would he sign? Who would take him? I mean, by the time something actually happened, you've lost the league because you didn't have the opportunity to go and flex out on the waiver wire and get somebody else.
We're also entering bye week season. I mean, the bye week started this week, and as your players start to go on bye, those roster spots are valuable. So I would say no.
Thank you, everybody, for waking up on the game day edition of the Flex Network X Roster Watch, co-comprisement of a start-sit show this morning. Howdy, Canadian Beastie Boy and Doctor Who. Doctor Who, that's a new one. I haven't seen that. Adam Roy here. Buffalo will win the table-breaking battle.
Bills Mafia. I'm going after this podcast. I'm going to Mr. Adam Roy's house to watch this game on his like 70-inch 4K TV. And I like to go there.
70-inch?
Something like that. I don't know,
70.
75. It's a big TV. But I like to look in his eyes when the Bills lose and see the single tear roll down his face as he just accepts that at the 3-0 start, it's all just a facade, and that let the Bills be the Bills, Adam Roy.
Wait a second. Is it the Bills that are having the issue with the unmentionables thrown upon the field every game?
Oh, yes.
It's the Bills, right?
Something that you can purchase at an adult shop. Absolutely. You get Bills Mafia, man. They get nasty up there in Buffalo.
Just a 10-centimeter thick adult
we
shop.
got
Stacy says Lowski
in the house.
This is Mrs. Zeslowski here. She's on the cast, and the boy is not our boy. This is Stacy Zeslowski. She's playing the Alan Zeslowski this week, and she needs 2 out of the 3 this week. Godwin, Diggs, or Barber.
Peyton Barber. Play the damn song.
Play the song. Okay, I will. Dance break. Alan Zeslowski, DJ Pleasurehead here. And we will go ahead and help Stacy Zeslowski not play Peyton Barber this week.
Don't play Peyton Barber.
Don't
it's a trap.
It's not even a trap. It's don't play Peyton Barber this week if you have Godwin or Diggs. I mean, It's just like the conundrum of Allen Robinson this week. Allen Robinson going up against a really stiff defense. You don't get too fooled. Don't get too fooled with maybe a potential good matchup, a potential somebody sitting on your bench. Allen Robinson is a week-by-week starter because unless you have Christian Kirk on your bench, you can't sit Allen Robinson. It's Peyton Barber.
The problem with Peyton Barber is it's like 1 week it's Ronald Jones, the next week is Peyton Barber, the next week it's Ronald Jones, and this week, I mean, they're going up against a very tough LA Rams team in LA. I think that it's going to be nasty. I think they're going to be throwing the ball. I actually kind of like it from Mike Evans this week. And the thing about playing both Godwin and Barber, you're kind of limiting your upside a little bit, right? I mean,
you can't do that.
No. So I would say I don't love Diggs this week, but especially if it's a PPR league, maybe they're going to do some quick dump offs because Kirk Cousins is going to get just absolutely that line is just going to get decimated, I think, by Chicago because Chicago was just so good up front. But I would still roll Godwin. Diggs is still the best player of these 3. I'm still going to say that he's a better player than Godwin. And I love Chris Godwin. Go with Godwin. Go with Diggs. We love you, Stacy. Thank you for tuning in as your husband is off gallivanting in New York City.
Gallivanting. What a word. I love that. That popped me so good.
Thank you.
Is this Rob? Rob. Need 2 for his flex. Chris Thompson, yes. Curtis Samuel, yes. Marvin Jones, yes. Damn it. Okay.
That's tough.
Yeah, it is tough because here's the thing. Marvin Jones really, I mean, he's a good receiver. He's a good receiver. And they're going up against Kansas City this week. And it's Mahomes' first time in a dome this year. Mahomes is ready to throw it literally from end zone to end zone. Okay. And that's great. So that's going to give a lot of opportunity for a Marvin Jones.
Well, interesting stat I heard actually on the RosterWatch podcast that Alex does. He does a breakdown of each game as it pertains to the DFS slates. And he was talking about the Detroit Lions. And he was saying that they're actually top 10 in the league, Detroit is, in terms of plays per game. So that means they're not this slow, grinded out team that they kind of have this perception of being, which means there's going to be lots of targets. I mean, you go to the snap counts, targets, and touches tool at rosterwatch.com. Marvin Jones, 83% snap share, 9 targets, 6 receptions, 101 yards and a touchdown last week. I mean, obviously Kenny Golladay had an off week, but every single week Marvin Jones is going to be involved. You want to get action in that Kansas City game. I mean, looking here, the over-under in that game is 54.5, which I believe is the highest. Yeah, it's the highest over or total on the slate. I would roll with Marvin Jones.
That's a monster.
So really,
just
it's a question
waiting
between
to
Curtis
happen.
Samuel and Chris Thompson. I mean, That's tough,
Yeah,
man.
that is tough because I really, 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 really like Thompson this week. I just
Let's roll with it. Let's
really
flex it.
think, well, because I love Curtis Samuel too.
Ooh,
I
this is
can't.
tough, Rob. You got us two. Well, Curtis Samuel, he's a darling of the Flex Network, so we're naturally biased towards him. Chris Thompson. All right, I'm just gonna pull up the snap counts here. Let's look at this.
Well, my whole
Because,
thing is the Marvin Jones conundrum. That's what
yeah,
I'm really looking at because I don't know that I just Marvin Jones that you it's just like saying, "Oh, he did well last week, so I'm going to put him in this week." Last week, most people weren't even asking the question about Marvin Jones.
that's
And
true.
so the guy does well one week and then all of a sudden we want to hop on the bandwagon.
But it's not like we've got a
Curtis
small sample size with Marvin Jones. When he's healthy in his career, he's productive.
No, he is. And again, against KC, something's going to have to happen here,
Yeah.
right? I mean, Kenny Golladay, as much as we'd like to say he's Babytron, he's not commanding the offense like Megatron did. They both get high targets. Last week, Kenny Golladay targeted 8 times. Marvin Jones targeted 9 times. Marvin Jones just was more productive, obviously against Philadelphia.
So this is what worries me a little bit about Chris Thompson. And maybe I'm just totally overanalyzing this, which is I have a tendency to do. But I think that the game, the Washington Giants game, is going to be a little bit more competitive than people think. Which means that if it's a competitive game, it's close. That means Adrian Peterson's going to continue to be in there. Last week, Chris Thompson had 50% of snap shares. He got 6 receptions. He had a total of 108 yards, no touchdowns, because I think that Adrian Peterson's going to troll and obviously Scary Terry when he plays.
Scary Terry.
Man, I'm going to roll Curtis Samuel, Marvin Jones. I'm flexing.
All right, we'll go ahead with that. Even though Chris Thompson was on my flex finders this week.
Yeah, so we're cool with both. I mean, whatever your gut tells you. My gut is telling me Curtis Samuel. If your gut tells you Chris Thompson, I wouldn't have a problem with that. We would both play Marvin Jones.
Oh, this is trashy.
This is filthy. This is trashy. But you know what's funny?
14 team PPR. Oh my gosh.
Sully, I've got a similar conundrum. And
this is exactly why we do not suggest playing in 14-team leagues, because 2 injuries later, and you're wondering if you should start Gus Edwards or Ito Smith.
Play the damn song, Sully.
No. Gus Edwards, though. Gus Edwards.
No? Oh, you go with Gus.
Yeah, I like Gus. I mean,
Baltimore.
I just like Gus Edwards. I think that they drafted Justice Hill, and you have seen nothing about Justice Hill because of Gus Edwards.
Right? Byron came in, and after going to training camp, he went and he put just cold water on all of us friggin' Justice Hill fans and said, listen, it's going to be a whole lot of just nasty Gus Edwards and Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram's probably going to get the majority of the touches, then Gus Edwards, and not Ito, but Justice Hill might get like 5 touches a game. So,
let's go ahead and look at the snap counts. Ito Smith last week, 1 touch.
Well, he got concussed, right? So he was out early in the game.
Still. And then you go over to a Baltimore Ravens team. Gus Edwards, 27% snap share, 9 touches for 68 yards.
Yeah. So I mean, 7 carries.
Yeah, you got to go Gus Edwards here. Next question.
Gus.
Andrew Carasquillo, thank you. We appreciate it, brother. Another question here from you. Any upside running backs you'll stash that might be on waivers? So Gus Edwards is going to be one of those, right? The guy we were just talking about. If Mark Ingram is doing this, I'm a little bit older. The first 4 weeks is going to be great for me, and then maybe they start pulling it back a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the year, Gus Edwards completely takes the position job from him.
No,
I'm not saying it's gonna happen. We said any upside running backs.
Look,
okay,
guys,
Gus Edwards is one of them.
Guys that I would target are these high productive running offenses. where there's like a legit handcuff if possible, right? So off the top of my head, Alexander Madison is a guy that might not be held, and he could be, you know, if Dalvin Cook goes down, he's going to have immediate impact and he could win the league. So a guy like Alexander Madison. I'm thinking of other guys, even like Chase Edmonds, Jalen Samuels. A lot of people drafted him, but it's week 4 now. Maybe people have dropped him. I was able to pick him up in a league that I've got James Conner 2 weeks ago when James Conner was questionable. Somebody had drafted him, had dropped him. So Jalen Samuels is another guy that, frankly, I mean, he might be as good, if not better, than James Conner in a lot of ways.
Right here, too. What about this? Okay? Jay Ajayi.
Jay Ajayi, who isn't signed by anybody, but man, if the Giants go and sign Jay Ajayi, just kiss Wayne Gallman goodbye. There you go.
Yeah, that's something else there. What about Ty Johnson?
Okay. Ty Johnson, yes, in Detroit. I mean, he's a guy that we liked a lot. I mean, I've got him on one of my dynasty teams. The Lions are talking about how they want to actually keep running the ball. Kerryon Johnson is prone to injury. He's been injured in the past. I like Ty Johnson, man. So those are a few good options for you, Andrew.
Those are a lot of good options here. Theis Earnhardt Jr. I wish I could understand that a little bit more. So tell me if you're still hanging out here. Hollywood Brown, Terry McLaurin, or Mecole Hardman, 0.5 PPR. We got to go Scary Terry.
You think so? For me,
yeah, I just think there's more opportunity for a touchdown. In a half-point PPR, I look so much more for who's going to score the touchdown, just because I think that will trump overall production if it's a low-scoring game or a low-scoring stat line by all three. It's just like the Alshon. It's like the Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar thing.
Yeah,
you know, they both had shitty games. Both had really shitty games, but what stood out most is that Alshon got the touchdown. But you like Hollywood Brown here.
I like Hollywood Brown here.
I just don't like the defense. I think Cleveland, they haven't played up to their true potential yet. They've still got guys out on defense. So I guess we could say we really like Marquise Brown. I mean, obviously he's on every single one of our teams this year. And if you listen to the Flex Network in the offseason and Roster Watch, we were waiting for it. Snapshare last week for Marquise, 75%, only 2 touches for 49 yards. Those are the weeks that I'm nervous about Hollywood Brown, but obviously the targets are there. 9 targets. He only converted 2 though. So are we going to go that over a Scary Terry McLaurin?
Ken, I keep referring to Alex. I was listening to the to his podcast just this morning for the show, so it's fresh in my head. But they were talking about how Terry McLaurin, the F1 sports car, he's got the hamstring injury, and when these high productive, you know, twitchy wide receivers have any sort of injury, we haven't seen what Terry can do with the injury, right? You see a guy like Stephon Diggs, who he is just completely relegated to like a secondary option when he's injured. For me, Marquise Brown, last week he got 9 targets. He only had 2 receptions, but this guy's good for a long touchdown every single week. We love Terry. I would roll with Marquise Brown. I'd be comfortable with that. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, Marquise Brown ranked 16 on Roster Watch's rankings this week. Terry McLaurin, 25. Mecole Hardman, 30. So, yeah, we'll go ahead with Marquise Brown. I just like to be maniacal. I like to sometimes take the train off the rails. Delaney Walker or Will Dissly this week. That one's a tough one.
No, okay, listen. So I'm going Will Dissly against that Arizona defense. I mean, every single week they're giving up points to the tight end. Delaney Walker had a good week last week, but for people who actually watched the game, it was all garbage time stuff. He was getting like the quick dink and dunks for 2-3 yards at the end of the game, and it wasn't really reflective of what the game plan was. I know that Delaney Walker is still going to be Marcus Mariota's just go-to guy, but Will Dissly, man, he's just right now, he's on a roll. Keep it rolling against the Arizona Cardinals, excuse me. I'm going Will Dissly.
I think that Delaney Walker, Will Dissly are probably even this week. They're 100% even. I think they're going to be just even, but the idea is that Delaney Walker sometimes disappears mid-game until Mariota has to be bailed out. And I think that it is definitely an idea that Delaney Walker might just go completely blank today, even though he has a great matchup. Vegas player props from RosterWatch slates them both at an even game at about 10.4 points this week. So really, when you look at it, Disley is just on fire right now. He's been on fire. It's not a one game and then now let's throw him in there. He's been on fire. So let's go ahead and go with Will Disley here. Sit one, Chris Carson, James Conner, Austin Eckler, or Mark Ingram.
Sit one. For me, it's Chris Carson. He's been fumbling. It's the CJ Pro-Size show. James Conner, Monday night. He's the hammer. Austin Eckler. I know that Melvin Gordon is going to play today, but Austin Eckler's saying, listen, guys, I've been rolling with you guys all off season. I've been productive through the first 3 games. I've been an absolute stud. I deserve this starting spot. He's a restricted free agent next year. When Melvin Gordon walks, I think that there's a serious discussion that they're going to bring Austin Eckler back. And I think that he's just going to be a PPR. Oh, yeah. Assuming it's PPR. I'm going to assume it's PPR. And Mark Ingram, you got to roll with Mark Ingram. He's like the number 1 running back right now. To me, you sit the guy who's fumbling the damn ball, even though he's really, with Penny out this week, he could get trolled by CJ Pro-Size, who after the fumble pretty much got all the snaps in the game last week. I say Chris Carson.
I was at that game.
You were at that game.
Yes.
With our boy Baron.
With our friend Justin Jacksa. What's up, man? Thank you so much for joining us again this morning. Later on, he says, sorry, guys, he needed a running back, or is it 2 receivers and 2 flexes from here? A running back, wide receiver 2, and 2 flexes.
And it's a PPR thing.
Okay, and so he needs a running back, a receiver, and 2 flexes. So we have Shady, Gallman are the 2 running backs. So he needs an RB.
You got to go with Shady, right?
Ooh, yeah, that one's a good one.
You just got to roll a Shady, I think.
I think you have to, because Gallman's going up against who are they going up against? Is it Tampa Bay?
Oh, no.
No, it's Washington. It's Washington. Ooh, gosh, let's go Shady. Let's go Shady for the running back. He needs a wide receiver and 2 flexes. So we're going Hollywood Brown for sure. Godwin for sure. If you have to do one, it's Godwin. If Godwin's out, obviously that changes things.
Yeah.
But if Godwin's in, you got to play him. And then I would say Godwin for 1 wide receiver, 2 flexes. Now we need Hollywood Brown. And then let's fire up a Christian Kirk here.
I was going to say Christian Kirk. Now he says he has Mike Evans in this lineup. That doesn't change anything for Chris Godwin, right? Like you're playing Chris Godwin.
Ugh, I didn't read that part. I hate that. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I don't like having 2 receivers on the same team because we've seen it, right? So far this season, if Godwin has a good week, Mike Evans has an off week. We haven't quite seen just both guys lighting up the scoreboard, and that worries me a little bit.
I didn't even read that part. I blanked that part out of my mind. He has Evans in this lineup.
Which I like Evans this week. With Godwin with the hip, I think, All
right, let's pull Godwin. Let's go Kirk. Okay, listen. If you can go Robinson again, I talked about this before. If Darius Slay is in, this is the key. If Darius Slay is in, then you play everybody on that offense except for Sammy Watkins. If he's out, then don't play Robinson. I like Robinson. Yeah. I seem to be of the ilk that the Detroit Lions might score 28 points.
What about Calvin Ridley? Is he in consideration here?
Calvin Ridley is in consideration. I love Calvin Ridley. I think it's a bounce back game from a 1 target, 6-yard game. But I don't know about this. This one's a tough one. I'm going to say Hollywood Brown.
Yep.
Kirk. And it's between Ridley and Robinson. And I'm just going to go ahead and base my decision off of RosterWatch's rankings because there are friends and family here. And we have the very first person we said we were going Kirk, right?
Yep.
Calvin Ridley. So
Calvin Ridley.
We're going to go Calvin Ridley, Kirk, and and Hollywood Brown, baby.
And you could be comfortable with that, Justin, because they came out and they said that they need to get Ridley more involved in the game. So I think that they're going to go after him, even though they're going up against that tough Tennessee team. You know, they're going to get him involved in the game. And, you know, he's just like any of these other guys. You can book him for a long touchdown and, yeah, be comfortable with that. Oh, John. Sully. Sorry?
No, go to Theis Earnhardt's comment here.
All right. Theis, way at the bottom here. All right.
Yep. Woo! Best advice I've gotten in a long time. I'll tune back next week. Great work, fellas. I'll help spread the word on the show. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. We love you.
We really appreciate that.
Thank you, man. Really appreciate it. Yeah, you know, we just come here. We love to talk about fantasy football, and you know, we what we love about this is we've got the time to kind of break it down, right? We're not just going to say start this guy and we move on. We like to tell you why. We like to give you our process, because a lot of the times, I mean, we're looking at this one here. It's a tough decision, right? In a vacuum, you play Chris Godwin, but fantasy football is never in a vacuum. There's always situations, and the fact that he's got the hip, the fact that Mike Evans is in your lineup, you pivot, right? So we like to give you as much advice as we can based on the situation. Sully, come on now. Bell on a bye. Gus has juice. That's just play the damn song. My goodness.
You gotta go Gus Edwards, though. This isn't reference for those just tuning in. This is a reference from the earlier question where in a 14-team PPR, he has to decide between Gus Edwards or Ito Smith. All right, Kevin S. The reason why he said Doctor Who is because we ask you, who do we pick each week? I am pure genius.
Love it.
I almost wanted to go on a dance break right there. Also, Theis Earnhardt, we are missing one key component to our triplets here. We usually have at Alan Seslowski on here. He is a member of the Flex Network, also a member of DFS Army. We are a part of every entity. We have a promo code at DFS Army. Flex Army is our promo code. I forget how much it gets you, but there is a guy from DFS Army that just won $1 million.
Yes.
He is a normal guy. A normal guy, just like you and I, who decided to use the tools afforded to him from the DFS Army to win $1 million. And you can too with a hash or a promo code Flex Army. Also, sorry.
So we got to get to Daryl here because he's got to make a choice in the next 10 minutes here. So he's in an 8-team standard league, okay?
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt you, Matt. This is important. This is time sensitive. He's an extra spot for his 11 o'clock waivers. He has Kirk, McLaurin, Sterling Shepard, Tyrell Williams, who isn't playing, I don't think, this week, DJ Chark, Curtis Samuel available. Who has the highest upside for the rest of the year? They won't make roster today. Ooh, that's interesting. They won't make the roster today. If it's me,
Terry McLaurin has the highest
over
upside
Christian Kirk?
over the rest of the year. I mean, Christian Kirk is the number 2 receiver. Wouldn't you say that Terry McLaurin's the number 1 in Washington?
What about DJ Chark? Is DJ Chark the number 1?
Yes, but not. You can't go him over McLaurin or Kirk.
That's true. Yeah,
not
you're right.
For upside the rest of the year. Tyrell Williams is out today. Did I miss that? Or
I'm pretty sure Tyrell's out this. Yeah, I think they were saying last night that he's doubtful to play today.
Okay, if you can look that up when you get a chance. But I Kirk or McLaurin, man, that's a tough one. But McLaurin's got the wheels. Man, I love Kirk though. I'm a Kirk. I'm a Kirk truther. Upside the rest of the year. What if Larry Fitzgerald gets hurt or something?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. Tyrell Williams isn't out.
Tyrell's not out. Crazy. That's what I was saying.
He's been hurt. Yeah, he was hurt with the hip all week, right? But he's
Terry or Tyrell?
Man, I would almost go Tyrell Williams at this point. I mean, he's not the only guy in town in Oakland, but man, this is tough. Honestly, this is going to be a situation where you might just want to roll with the waiver wires, right? Like every single week. If these guys are available today, there's probably going to be a few of them available. If it's me for the rest of the season, I think that I would roll with Kirk or McLaurin. Let's just get sick with those two guys.
The answer is Kirk or McLaurin. Yeah. The problem really being is they're just both so sick. They're both so sick. I guess you'd have to go Kirk because of Kyler Murray's upside, right? Because who's going to be throwing McLaurin the ball the rest of the year? Are they going to be able to get the ball to him anymore, potentially? Who knows? Who knows? But Kirk is steady. His targets are steady. His snap shares are steady. If something floats wrong on that offense, it's every bit of that work is going to Kirk. Wouldn't you say?
I think so. And like, who have they played this year? They played Detroit, challenging, Baltimore, challenging, Carolina, challenging. And it's not like he's not putting up points. I mean, he put up last week 15.9 points in PPR, 17.4 the week before against Baltimore, even 10 points against Detroit. I mean, every single week he's got that floor. He's got Seattle today, Cincinnati, Atlanta, New York Giants, New Orleans, San Francisco's tough. But the next couple of weeks, he's got some really solid matchups.
And yeah, New Orleans is definitely a really, really, really tough matchup. Mm-hmm. But Larry Fitzgerald's likely going to see what's his face at the corner spot from New Orleans. T-Bone hunting and fishing here down here. Been busy all week. We still playing Eckler. Yes.
I think you got to play Eckler, T-Bone.
You listen, I talked about this on our Flex Finder podcast Friday night. Okay. Eckler is on a mission this week. Guys, if you have Eckler, he needs to be in every single lineup, not even a question. And T-Bone, thank you for the comment, brother, because yes, we love Eckler. We are Eckler truthers.
So here. I guess the question is, Matt, people are worried about Melvin Gordon.
No.
Should we be worried? No.
Not this week. No.
No, I agree with you. Yeah.
Not this week. I even see a real big scenario where who was it that just got a first round pick for somebody? I think it was Miami, right? Miami just got a first round pick. I mean, you might see something crazy where Miami gives up a second rounder for an Austin Eckler.
Oh, I don't want that. I don't want
that. Just saying, obviously who they have over there. What about Tampa Bay trading for Austin Eckler? I mean, there's so many ideas because Melvin Gordon is coming back. The Chargers are completely disrespecting Austin Eckler to the highest level. They used him as a pawn in a Ponzi scheme against Melvin Gordon. And then Melvin Gordon walks back in the room and they give him the number one running back job. So Eckler is a start this week because he is not playing for the Chargers this week. He's playing for himself.
Yep.
He's playing for his future. Okay. And in people's careers, okay, they often don't get this opportunity where their backs are completely up against the wall and they have to show out. And if they don't, their career's over. I would be surprised if Eckler went for 25 yards on 12 carries, caught the ball 4 times for 36 yards, and they lost a game to Miami. You will never hear about Austin Eckler for the rest of his career.
That won't happen, though.
Well, you would like to think it wouldn't. Of course it wouldn't, because we picked the Chargers in our what do you call it? In our Survivor League, which you can find all of our. Oh, Daryl Graff here with a comment. Thanks you guys so much. Great analysis. Yeah, thank you, Daryl. Please join us. As you can see up here, guys, in about 7 minutes, we've been going for about an hour, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Thank you again. RosterWatch is just finishing up on Sirius XM. Here in just a second, Byron's going to be coming on here. Byron Lambert from RosterWatch will be joining us to talk about your start sits. That's when everybody pretty much floods in here and just tries to talk to Byron, of course, because we're chop liver. We are complete chop liver. But go get a pro membership at RosterWatch. Download the podcast, guys. Flex Network podcast. You can RosterWatch podcast. Byron Lambert literally had an 1.5 hour long podcast about who you should target, who you should sell, why you should sell them, why you should hold someone. Really, really, really amazing analysis, especially for someone just hops on the computer and records themselves talking about fantasy football, which is hard enough to do in general. And now we have to lead a nation to a fantasy football championship, and that's exactly what we're doing here on the game day edition of the Flex Network ex Roster Watch, co-comprised in a Start Sit podcast, which is us here this morning. We love doing this for you guys, and we think that we can really help. And this week is a big week, guys. Week 4 is always one of the most pivotal weeks. It is the time where you really start analyzing the rest of the league. If you're 3-0, you're at a complete position of strength with a throbbing monster of a fantasy team going hopefully for a 4-0 victory today. Hopefully because you drafted a Lamar Jackson, a Dak Prescott. Maybe you went ahead and drafted a Dalvin Cook.
Woo-wee.
Okay? And you're sitting atop the mountain right now. A Larry Fitzgerald was a sneaky play, a sneaky pickup near the end of your draft. Evan Ingram, if you didn't listen to all the hype in the offseason about O.J. Howard, which none of us here at the Flex Network were touting, O.J. Howard, who's that right now?
I love
Where's
O.J.
he
Howard
been?
so much. He's
I
been
like
blocking.
him.
He's been blocking all the time, and he's just not like they were asking like Bruce Arians this week about like where's O.J. Howard, and he's like, well, he's got to play better. He's got to get open, basically. But they're not using him the way that they could be using him in that offense right now, and it's very frustrating. Like a lot of people talked about how Bruce Arians is just like he kills the tight end position, and then the argument was, well, he's never had a tight end at the caliber of O.J. Howard. But I mean, proof's in the pudding, man. We're through 3 weeks now, and granted, it's still a very small sample size, right? We get into these small sample traps all the time that says, this has happened for 3 games. And that's it. That means it's going to happen for the rest of the season. It's going to happen for the rest of the career. It's not always the case. O.J. Howard is a beast. I mean, again, Chris Godwin is battling that hip, so maybe O.J. Howard gets a little bit more involved into the game this week. But it's tough right now. Hey, Matt. So we've got a few minutes here. I'm going to ask you a start sit question in one of my leagues.
Oh no!
And this one's tough for me. So would you rather roll with your flex spot a Devonta Freeman, a McCole Hardman, or Tyrell Williams?
Ewalps, what's going on, brother? Hold on, Ewalps, put him up here. Good morning, Flex Nation. Yes. What's up, Ewalps? Love Ewalps. Love his questions. Go ahead. What is the question again? Devonta Freeman.
Was it really Devonta Freeman or Tyrell Williams or McCole Hardman? McCole Hardman, I'm close on.
Yeah, I like McCole. I like again. If Darius Slay is out, then we're gonna go not McCole. But if he's in, we would go McCole Hardman, 100%. Okay. Or Devonta Freeman.
I've got Freeman locked in my lineup right now.
Oh, okay. Wait a second. You're talking about Tyrell Williams.
Yeah,
that's right.
Tyrell Williams. Yeah.
Man, I just like Tyrell Gazelle.
You do?
I love him.
I mean, I like him too. He's good. I just right now, Devonta Freeman had a good game last week. I just like the upside. I mean, we're a little bit different. I like to roll with running backs in my flex, generally speaking, just because they give you the touches. But, oof.
Tyrell Williams, 97% snap share.
Yep.
Tyrell Williams going up against Indianapolis. Darius Leonard. See, here's the thing. It is a bad matchup for Tyrell, but Darius Leonard is out. Okay?
Right. Yep.
Out with a concussion. And that was essentially your rookie of the year last year. Okay, almost close. I would go Tyrell there. 97% snap share. T-Bone, hunting and fishing. Would you keep Breeze on the bench with Minshew on top, or do you drop Breeze and get what I can get? We talked about this earlier. We talked about this a little earlier. The roster spots, as you consolidate your fantasy football teams, okay, you need to open up spots on the bench. That's just part of consolidation. Gardner Minshew is a good quarterback. Okay, if I can pull up here in just a second the Jacksonville Jaguars schedule, I will put it up. Go ahead.
Preface that by saying, I mean, listen, if this is like a 14-team league and there's like all the running backs, or if it's like a 2 QB league or something like that, then yeah, you want to hang on to Drew Brees. But if it's just a 10 or 12 person league, I hate having 2 quarterbacks because those bench spots are so valuable. I mean, Brees is injured. What are the chances that somebody actually goes and picks him up right now and holds him for the next 3, 4, 5 weeks? I don't see that happening. And when Drew Brees comes back, I mean, listen, we know Drew Brees is, he's one of the GOATs of the game, right? He's one of the greatest. He's going into the Hall of Fame. But right now, he's not putting up consistent fantasy points every single week. Whereas Gardner Minshew, man, he is. So I would roll with Minshew. I would risk dropping Breeze. If you love Breeze, try to pick him up, maybe a week in advance as we start to get to reports that he's nearing a return. But there's so many good options at quarterback. I mean, you can roll with the position. You can try to go after Danny Dimes if he's available. If you don't love Gardner Minshew, but I say drop Drew Brees. Try to pick up an upside play that can help you win your league, and don't look back, man.
Yeah, and looking at the Jaguars schedule up here, I mean, there is some favorable matchups that you're just happy to play. The Saints, the Bengals, the Texans should be a shootout, the Bucks, the Raiders, the Falcons. I mean, as you're getting into it here, and if the Mustache Mountain ride is just coming up, then yes, let's go ahead and drop Breeze, because the dropping of Breeze could mean that you might pick up that next waiver wire addition before anybody else. Yeah. And so we like that. Our boy Alan Seslowski, your wife was on, man. Did you hear that? I hope you didn't, because she's going to wreck you this week. Will Chiefs running back Darrell Williams get enough work to be playable, or if Shady plays, is Darrell a zero? No, Darrell Williams is 100% playable. I mean,
think so too. Let's look at last week. So last week he had 5 targets for throwing targets. He had 14 total touches, 109 yards as Darrell Williams. Listen, man, he's going to get the ball. It's kind of a troll because Andy Reid has always been a one running back offense, but he realizes that his workhorses right now are injury prone. And that's just because Shady's a million years old, right? He gets hurt every single season and he needs to keep him fresh. Darrell Williams, hell, are we confident that when Damian Williams comes back, he's just going to stroll right in and take all those touches back? I'm not 100% convinced.
I would like to be confident.
I would like to be confident for my shares of him.
My guy.
But I would say, man, Al, I would be cool rolling with Darrell Williams in a flex spot this week. He's going to get some touches, and chances are he's going to get some high probability touches, right? Shady's probably going to get the goal line looks. But who knows? Darrell Williams could break off a long touchdown. I think he's absolutely playable, and I wouldn't think twice about it.
All right, guys. RosterWatch just ended their SiriusXM show. Byron Lambert should be joining us here soon. We will just be rapid firing here. We just finished our first hour of our 2-hour game day edition of the Flex Network X RosterWatch, a co-comprisement of great lore. And we will go ahead and flex on. Is it Tamra? Is that Tamra? Tamara. Tamra, you could comment again in the chat, the correct spelling. Tamra, what's up? Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Flex, David Montgomery or Darren Waller. And we love tight end flexes here. And based off the RosterWatch DFS flex values, Darren Waller again looking to have a decent pickup this week as far as points. But David Montgomery, he is also, even though with the bad matchup, slated to score about 11 points this week. Man, that's a tough one because he has not looked he's looked great, but just not the matchup. He's
not getting the touches. That's the problem.
And it's not the matchup to just go ahead and roll him out there this week, don't you think?
Well, no, I mean, it's a 19th ranked matchup on the tool. So looking here at these Vegas props.
Darren Waller has a prop of 14 points this week. I mean,
in PPR, yeah.
Tamra. All right. That's thank you for saying
that. You were right. Okay, cool. I like it.
Perfect thing. Camera. Okay, Tamra. Hey,
Tamra.
Let's go Darren Waller. Let's flex out with Darren Waller.
He's getting the touches. He's getting the looks. Let's hope it's PPR. And, he's got a very similar line to David Montgomery. Obviously, Montgomery's a little bit more favored to get a touchdown. Looking at the Vegas tool right now. Let's see here. I just had it. I think he is at right around a 170, minus 170 to get in the end zone. Oh, sorry, minus 150 or plus 150 to get in the end zone, whereas Darren Waller's 175. But look, he's going to get action. And David Montgomery, it's just right now it's a question mark, right? I mean, I think they've totally gotten away with what what got them here in the first place. I mean, the Ty Freak or like Tariq Cohen, he's still out there, and he's going to help them win games consistently. So I worry a little bit about David Montgomery. Darren Waller, I would roll with him this week, and I would flex.
Oh man, we got the questions pouring in here.
All
I
right,
can
we're gonna move on.
hold on. I could just see a Byron Lambert ready to walk right in here and just take this over. Thank you. I would assume this is RosterWatch Nation. Tamara, again, from question before, she loves Waller. I think we all have to love Waller. Yep. He's got a great story, something you can really follow. And that offense, I mean, they're on their way to gunslinging their way on out of that town into Vegas next year. Whitney Johnson, good morning. Thank you so much for joining RosterWatch and Flex Network. Shane, be on the lookout for Byron tapping in here. Absolutely. We can get him in here. Minshew or Deshaun today? And this is an age-old question, really, because Deshaun Watson is a top 5 QB weekly. Matchups aside, you really have to go with the guy that you spent so much good draft capital on, because if you had Deshaun Watson, you drafted him early. You have to play him. I don't care what the matchup is. Go ahead and play Deshaun. He's got rushing upside. 100%. He's got 2 touchdown passing, 1 touchdown rushing as a floor each week. He's up there with Patrick Mahomes. As far as just a real solid floor, we're going to have to go Deshaun.
Love it.
Ewalps, thank you, brother. Thank you, everybody. The questions are rolling in now. We're going to get to them, and we're going to have Byron Lambert joining us here in just a minute. Ewalps, our boy here, wide receiver 2, Boyd, Kirk, or Godwin. That is so tough. But I'm going to go right to RosterWatch rankings here, and I'm going to go to wide receiver, and the very first one that pops up on this list is Tyler Boyd.
I love Tyler Boyd this week. I have him in some DFS lineups, the ones that have the Monday night ones. I've got him in all my lineups. He's playing. We talk about it all the time, Matt. You got that Monday night hammer. He's going up against a weak, soft Pittsburgh team right now. And I think that Cincinnati can go in, and I think that they can actually get the win.
Interdivisional game
in Pittsburgh. I think they're going to go in. They're going to roll. They're going to get their first win of the season. Tyler Boyd, I love him this week. I would roll Tyler Boyd.
Thank you. Yes, Tyler Boyd, 10 targets a game, essentially. Close to it. He got 11 last week. The guy is a wide receiver 1. I mean, Tyler Boyd was drafted as a low-end wide receiver 2, maybe a high-end wide receiver 2, depending on how you were. But here at the Flex Network, Tyler Boyd was AO number 1 for us this year in this offseason. We are flexing. Ewalps again here. T-Bone before that said, thank you guys. Really appreciate it, T-Bone. Thank you so much for joining us early in the first hour. We're now deep into the second hour of a game day edition of our Start Sits with RosterWatch. PPR, Boyd, Kirk, Godwin, or James Conner. No.
I think you have to roll. In there, you have to roll James Conner. You have to. God. You have to.
That sucks, because I love James Conner, but I'm still a little bit nervous about him, and I'm just not nervous about Boyd. I'm just not nervous about Boyd, but I just am still. I just don't know if Mason Rudolph is, obviously that offense doesn't know how to run through James Conner exactly with Mason Rudolph. I just don't know that. Let's look at the snap shares last week for the Pittsburgh Steelers. James Conner,
68% snap shares,
17 total touches. Okay, we're rolling with James Conner on 17 total touches. The guy's gonna perform a lot better this week. It has to.
And last week he was battling the injury too, Matt. Right? So it sounds like he hasn't been on the injury report all week. It sounds like he's healthy. Roll with James.
Oh my gosh, we just have so many questions rolling in.
We're gonna roll in here.
Rick Lefton, what's up, Rick? Thank you, man. Good morning.
Oof,
Need one. Tough. Larry Fitzgerald, Mecole Hardman, Marcus Robinson. We want Larry Fitzgerald. That's good. I mean, obviously the Chiefs are going into a dome, and everything's going to be great. And again, even if Darius Slay plays, it's probably looking better for DeMarcus than it is me, Cole. But we just love Larry Fitzgerald. Larry against the Seahawks. I'm from Seattle. Larry Fitzgerald against the Seahawks has been just incredible. The guy's in line for a 10-touch, 100-yard game, 2 touchdowns potentially. We love Larry Fitzgerald this week. I think we have to go Larry, Rick.
Love Larry.
Please, guys, give us a like, a subscribe here. We're on a new channel today. Same look with RosterWatch. Byron Lambert going to be joining us here hopefully soon. Jam Peas. Which two? Mike Evans, yes. Cooper Kupp, yes. That's the answer.
That was easy.
That one was kind of easy.
In the same game too, right? That's just going to be exciting. So you're going to tune into that game. I think it's an afternoon game.
We're going to get on here. Rod Eve. What's up, Rod Eve? What's up this morning? Thank you, brother. Wake up with the game day edition. He needs 2 and a flex in PPR. Evans, yes. McLaurin, Woods, Robinson, or Boyd. And I'm going to go because I think to me it's between Boyd and it's Boyd, actually.
Well, it's 2 wide receivers
or Robert
and a
Woods.
So
oh, 2 receivers in a flex.
I go Evans, Woods, Boyd.
Yep, Evans, Woods, Boyd. That's what I was going to go, Woods or Boyd. But yeah, Boyd's way higher up, but Woods is just a little bit back. We love Woods. Woods is also one of those buy low candidates from RosterWatch this week on the TradeCast. Woods, he's one of those rare high floor, high ceiling receivers, especially because Cooper Kupp is playing out of his mind right now. You would have to assume that would fall back to the mean here shortly. Buy Woods. Everybody go out there and buy Woods. Whitney Johnson, Kay, thanks, because I'm playing Kyle and I need to win. Oh, yes, that is, damn it. That's the Gosh, if I'd have known that, I might have just slandered Whitney, but I didn't. Oh, man, he's going to hate me. All right, yes, please go ahead and just get the win. That's definite. B. Ollie, Jacoby Brissett, Case Keenum, Keenan Allen, Kyle Allen, or Mason Rudolph need one. This one's a good one. This is a good question, which all of us probably have a good option at having any one of these quarterbacks. For me, it's Jacoby Brissett. I like Jacoby. RosterWatch says Jacoby too. Against Oakland, Jacoby really is showing out. I mean, if you look at his from the snap or not the snap counts, do we have the what can you go ahead and look up his stats from last week? If you get a chance. Jacoby Brissett, man, again, just like Austin Eckler this year, he really has his back up against the wall. And he is coming out with the franchise and saying, I'm your number one guy. And for that franchise, it might be a detriment because he's probably playing well enough to get them into the top 15 or the bottom 15 of the draft next year, which is probably not a great thing for that team because they can go ahead and have their choice of anyone they wanted to in the draft.
So this is what worries me about Jacoby Brissett. T.Y. Hilton, it sounds like, is not going to play. We'll know in about 15, 20 minutes here that it's official. But T.Y. Hilton, if he's out, I just worry about those options with Jacoby Brissett. I mean, so last week we were talking about his points. He got 20 points. He had 37 attempts, 28 completions, 310 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's not really rushing as much as I thought that he would rush. He only had 3 rushes last week for 4 yards.
Yeah, but he hasn't rushed because he doesn't want to ruin his career. He doesn't want to go and be a Carson Wentz and destroy his obliterate his kneecap. He doesn't have the same type of team to come back to if that happens. So I think he's just being cautious. But
if he's not going to be running and he doesn't have his number one wide receiver with T.Y. Hilton,
then fire up Paris Campbell this week.
I've got him in one line.
Ashton Doolin.
Oof. Ashton Doolin, play the damn song.
Who is Ashton Doolin? Go ahead and pull up his player profiler.
All right, I love Ashton Doolin. Actually, we both just picked him up in a couple of our dynasty leagues again this week. I drafted him late. Oh, here we go. We got our boy. Byron is in the house. This is perfect time for Byron because we've got a debate going on right now with Bali in terms of which quarterback. This must be a 2 quarterback or a super flex kind of league, because Byron, we're going to get you in here with a hard one. Jacoby Brissett, Case Keenum, Kyle Allen, or Mason Rudolph. Bally needs one.
Well, my intuitions were Brissett is a must start here.
Yep.
We were just talking about that. So
yeah.
T.Y. Hilton, though, if he's out, are you still playing Jacoby?
You know what? I guess in that case, it raises a good point. I would maybe pivot over to why do I think I might pivot over to Mason Rudolph?
Ooh, because you love the Monday Night Hammer.
Yeah, let me take a look at something really quick. I just want to see.
Byron, what about Ashton Doolin? Byron?
You guys.
That's the damn song. My goodness.
So Mason Rudolph, number 12 matchup of the week, only a 44-point game total. Their favorites. I don't know, man. Cincinnati's just been so bad. It feels like Pittsburgh is maybe due for a little bit of a breakout on offense. So if you're worried about the T.Y. Hilton thing, look, I mean, you should be, but there still is Eric Ebron, Jack Doyle, Paris Campbell, Deion Kane. I don't know. So for me, it's pretty hard to get Mason Rudolph in your lineup, right? But Kyle Allen, I guess he went bananas last week. That's tough. I'm playing Brissett, I think, over those guys.
Yes. Shane, put up the Ewolbs comment.
And by the way, people are betting the over on that Raiders-Colts game this morning. So if that's happening, if that game is going to somehow shoot out or something a little bit, that'd be better for Brissett too.
Yep, absolutely.
Ewolb's word, or no, not that one, not the most recent one here. That he just did here at the very bottom. What's up, Byron? Thanks for all the hard work at RosterWatch from Ewolps. Go ahead, Byron. Talk about how just crazy the trade cast was, where you just you literally just sat down with a cup of something here, probably a cup of water, and you just flexed out for an hour and a half trying to help us all just dominate the Chicken Littles in our league. Can you talk about that real quick?
Yeah, it was a big episode of the Tradecast, maybe the biggest ever. I think it was a great way to kick off the season. It was a large trade market, and really there's still a few guys I just couldn't get to in that 90 minutes. And actually, serendipity has it. I'm actually glad I didn't, because I think things are shaping up better for those players in next week's trade market potentially. So we'll be happy to get on to some of those guys. Maybe I'll tease that right here, but. Yeah, and I like what we did, man. We're just kind of setting the table, setting the stage for how we are going to optimize our rosters over the course of the season. And look, trades and putting trades together, it can be a time-intensive deal. So for me to be able to just every week basically tell everybody, look, these are the guys to go after, these are the guys to try to sell, and these are the type of trades you can make. And this is what we're trying to accomplish by doing that. Hopefully in a very actionable and simple way, I can make trading in fantasy a little easier for everybody. And I think it's a good place to learn a lot about a lot of the players in the league every week too, and just generally what's going on with them kind of when you dig in to their numbers. So it's fun for me. And apparently it's really popular. I had no idea so many people like the Tradecast, but apparently they love it. So I'm excited to do it all season long, guys.
Byron, the Tradecast is just phenomenal. I think trades are just one of those things where if you're not a salesman, if you're not a swarthy individual just trying to squeeze out the pulp of the 0-3 teams, and you're just a normal person looking to go ahead and just dominate your league, then please go and reference RosterWatch's Trade.
Yeah, I don't
dominate.
I guess I don't realize that not everybody thinks like me, man. It's just in my DNA. It's how I evaluate. It's the first thing I think of. It's like a kind of I don't want to say a Rain Man scenario. It's just how my mind works when I look at these things, man. I'm always looking for value. How can we make a deal? I love making deals. That's so funny. Alex texted, when Alex tells me something's good, that means a lot. So Alex texted me late Wednesday night, and he goes, holy cow, man. He goes, I always knew it was a fantastic idea to get a real swindler to break down the trade market every week. So he even kicked back and really enjoyed it. So
all right, yeah, Andrew Carasquillo, DFS DK Cash question. We answered this earlier, but now you're on here. DK Cash, McLaurin Fitz or Larry Fitzgerald Chargers, or Kirk Lockett and Panthers D in cash this week, Byron?
Probably Kirk Lockett, Panthers D.
Okay,
That's
that
what we
was
went with.
Shane's. I was thinking about going the other way, just with Scary Terry, just because he wouldn't be that high owned, but it is cash. I mean, you don't want to go ahead and roll an injured guy out there, right?
Yeah, and I just make my best lineups these days. I mean, tournaments are hard to win, like the grand prize, right? But I just want to make money, and I've just found that if you're going to be a normal DFS player, you're better off. Really, we have great tools, but so much of it's about your process. You need to come up with a process that works for you every week, and I think 3 to 5 lineups is for the normal person is about where you want to be, and just focus on putting your best lineups together and let the chips fall how they will.
All right,
Love
so
it.
Shane, let's get Byron. We have just a load of questions
All right, let's
here.
fire. Let's go for 20 minutes at least, rapid fire.
Okay,
here.
so Jennifer, who should I flex? Fitz, D. Robinson, McLaurin, E. Samuel.
I'm assuming Emmanuel Sanders, maybe.
Sanders, maybe, or Robert Woods. Who should she flex?
I'm pretty sure I'm playing Larry Fitzgerald in this. First of all, those are all terrific options. Yeah. What a difficult decision. That's an embarrassment of riches. But if we go by our rankings, I think
Terry
I'm going
with the Marcus Robinson type questions. I think, after listening to all the waiver wire podcasts and all that sort of thing.
Everybody's picked him up, right? As they should. Those are great guys to have on your bench. But, I mean, Larry Fitzgerald's just had an amazing start to the season. So he's the guy that I trust.
Let's do it. Flex on Larry. All right, Tamra.
Defense, Bears, or Chargers? I've been loving the Bears defense, but picked up Chargers as I prepared for a bye week, and they're going against Miami. What should she do?
I love the women of RosterWatch Nation joining us this morning. Pull that question back up for me, Matt. Let me see here. Defense for the Bears or the Chargers? I mean, you got to play with the Chargers defense.
Chargers, 100% the way. And Tamra, just to let you know, we found out that it sounds like camera. It's Tamra because at the beginning we thought it was Tamara, but she's like, it's like camera.
Where the hell are you guys from, Tamra?
I mean, I'm from Canada, so it's all very broken
and Matt's
out.
basically from Canada.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Oh,
the rest of the world, that's Tamara.
All right, Sean. Yep, it's Sean here. Full point PPR, Christian Kirk, Marvin Jones, or Chris Conley.
And Christian Kirk is one of the league leaders in targets per game. So just based on that, I'm going with Kirk. And I don't even have to – I know we like Marvin Jones this week, but let me just double-check our rankings. I'm pretty sure we definitely have Kirk above Marvin Jones. Let me just take a quick look.
Kirk is 24.
Yeah. Marvin Jones is 32.
32, yeah.
Yeah, so we want Christian Kirk.
Love it.
All right, Edward Acker, LaShawn McCoy, or James White, 1 point PPR. For me, it's McCoy.
Love LaShawn McCoy here. Yeah.
All right, Jennifer again, half point PPR. Who should I flex? McLaurin, Woods, Fitz, E. Sanders. Is this the same question?
It is Emmanuel Sanders. It's the same question, I think, right?
She fixed it.
Okay. We're going to go Fitz there. Rod, Eve, thanks, fellas. Let's go to Jeff Craig here. Standard, 12-team standard. Should I pick up Herndon? That's the first one. Byron, what do you think about Herndon coming back here?
It is a good pickup if you need to solve your tight ends or attempt to solve your tight end situation.
Are you a little bit scared of the mononucleosis?
I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want to get it. But that New York's a very international town, so who knows what ships crossed up there for Sam Darnold. But yeah, I like Chris Herndon, man. We are hearing this morning that Darnold's not a lock to return next week, so that puts Herndon. And neither is Herndon anyways, because he's got still the fourth game of a suspension. So those guys will be coming back probably together in week 6. Yeah, if I need it, look, there's maybe 5-6 tight ends that have really been worth their salt this year. I mean, that's a very difficult position to solve. I was at Jets training camp. Herndon looks awesome. And Darnold, I think if he's healthy, is going to be decent, man. So with no Quincy and Enunwa, not that did sap some. That was going to be like one of the top 3 or 4 receiving options there. So once he's now out of the picture, I think you see Herndon kind of picking up some slack there with Robbie Anderson and Jameson Crowder in the passing game. Oh, and a team that could be playing from behind too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff, let me put it this way, Jeff. I picked up Herndon in our RosterWatch listener league, the Banana Hammock Boys League. I've been rolling with Vance McDonald all season. So I went and I swooped up a couple weeks early, but you got to lock him in. So I went and I picked him up. But yeah, let's get to his question here.
Well, hold on. So it looks like he's playing. These are who he's playing. He's playing Winston, playing Thielen, playing Galladay, starting James Conner, Dalvin Cook, and O.J. Howard. He wants a flex out of Tyler Boyd, Shady, Latavius Murray, James. Okay, it's Tyler Boyd. It's 100% Tyler Boyd out of the rest. Over Shady, what do you think? Boyd or Shady here, Byron? Or Darrell Williams?
I'm looking over his whole roster. Winston, Thielen, Galladay, Connor.
Now it's a standard league, too. It's a standard league.
Cooks, he means Dalvin Cook, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Connor and Dalvin Cook. So he's got 2 Vikings, Thielen, Galladay, O.J. Howard. He wants to know a flex. So Tyler Boyd, Shady, Murray, Siemens, Madison. Ooh, so he's got Shady and Darrell Williams. Boy, that sucks to have to make that decision.
I got a question for you. Would you play Adam Thielen against the Chicago Bears? Would you roll with Tyler Boyd there and then play Shady in the flex?
Well, yeah, that's why I was reading his lineup. So in a standard, I'm not really that interested in Tyler Boyd like I usually am. So for me, if I'm just looking at this flex, pretty sure I'm going with LaShawn McCoy.
Okay.
You can maybe make a sneaky argument for a Philip Dorsett, but that's a trash man through the back door play. So we can't go that route for our friend Jeff Craig here, man. So let's get Shady in the flex, and then let's decide between Thielen and Tyler Boyd, right? Right?
So
I mean,
I guess you would have to say it would be Thielen or Boyd. So are we just going to go ahead and destroy this guy's already starting Thielen and say, hey, whoa, man, you should not start Thielen?
And who the hell is this, Auden Tate? Is that who he's asking us about here?
Ooh, it could be, yeah, because I wouldn't
so that's
see the
cockamamie. He's got all the Bengals. So Thielen versus Boyd in a standard. You know, Thielen hasn't been getting the targets. That's a very tough decision. That's the decision there. Get Shady in your flex, and then we need to pick between Thielen and Tyler Boyd, and let's just go with our rankings. So if we go with our rankings, we're going to say that Adam Thielen is our – oh, Lord have mercy. He's our number 22 receiver. And where do we have Boyd? 15, dude. Let's get Tyler Boyd in, man. He's getting targets, even at standard. Let's get Tyler Boyd in and a come from behind effort on Monday Night Football.
Yes, guys. This is the co-comprised start-sit game day morning edition of the RosterWatch Flex Network co-comprisement. And we love going through the back door, but not like the trash man. Edward Acker again.
Or up the disgusting gut like the trash man.
Robert Woods, Allen Robinson, or Christian Kirk need to Kirk and Woods, don't you think here, Byron?
Mm-hmm. I just don't trust Allen Robinson. You know, the thing with him is he's going to be like have couple of really big games this year, and then he's going to screw you a whole bunch of other times. And I just don't see how playing him against – I know Minnesota's not a crazy tough on the matchup tool, but I can't get too excited about Allen Robinson against this Vikings secondary. Robert Woods, he's going to hit one of these weeks. He's been getting the targets. I like Jared Goff in that game. And Christian Kirk, to me, is the must-start out of that group. So the industry has Woods over Allen Robinson as well. So Christian Kirk
news,
and Robert Woods.
Terry McLaurin is out. Breaking news. Scary Terry McLaurin is out.
Get Trey Quinn and get Paul Richardson. And you guys that are in deep leagues, those are fine plays today. Those are fine. Yeah, Trey Quinn's been getting the targets, and Paul Richardson's been kind of on an upward trajectory. So this could be more Chris Thompson, too. More Chris Thompson.
Fire up Chris Thompson.
I mean, I've had him in my flex all week over Devontae Freeman. I just switched back to Freeman this morning. And we'll see how that works out. But Chris Thompson's a guy I feel pretty good rolling out in my flex, and a lot of you had access to him on the waiver wire this week.
We got the perfect question then. Devonta versus Kirk versus Waller, 0.5 flex.
Ingram's already in the spot. So in a half-point PPR, Darren Waller over Christian Kirk over Devontae Freeman, Byron.
I mean, it just seems crazy to say a tight end, but boy, that's really what it feels like here. Let me see. I'm curious. Let's go to the Vegas Flex Value tool. One thing that, we have this sheet sorted over at RosterWatch. It's the player props as we've transformed them into fantasy projections coming out of Las Vegas for the week, and we keep that over at RosterWatch.com, and we always keep the sheet sorted by value based on DFS pricing, so it could be used as a DFS value finder. But sometimes I like to just come in here and sort by the absolute value of the total projected score. I don't, and just throw pricing out the window. Who are the guys that Vegas, what do they think they're going to score this week? So this isn't a PPR for DraftKings scoring, but they think Darren Waller at 14.73, Devontae Freeman at 13.44. And who was the other one, guys?
Kirk.
And Christian Kirk, they have at, let's see here. Where's Kirk? Kirk is pretty high on the list.
He's just right underneath Waller at about the same
14.
exact value.
Don't you guys feel better about starting?
I'm looking at the tool now, and I see Christian Kirk. He's got a total of 5 receptions for 67 yards, plus 185 for a touchdown, whereas Devonta Freeman is expected to have 73 total yards, 3 receptions. He's minus 110 for a touchdown. I just liked the touch opportunity with Devonta Freeman.
I mean, the running back it seems so cockamamie to say in a half-point PPR to start a tight end over a starting running back. Man, yeah. I don't know. That is a very tough call. That people are betting on the over in this.
Byron, channel your flex. Byron, channel the flex. Just in your mind, think about a big throbbing hand up in the just flexing and just say it, Byron.
Man, I'm going with the matchup and I'm going with the target, so I'm going to put Darren Waller in my
Waller in the flex. John Sullivan, our boy Sully here with a big old, just rattled out a bunch of, what's up, Sully? Thank you so much. Sean Melling, oh, hell yeah. What's up, Flex Network? What's going on, Sean? Jeff Craig says you guys are the best. Thank you so much. Yeah, man, we love to wake up with your fantasy teams. This is a big week, Byron. Going into week 4, some teams are 1-2. We need to avoid the 1-3 start. Some of us need to avoid the 0-4 start so that we get deemed the Chicken Little. The people are going to come. They're going to come right after our carcasses, dead on the side of the street here. Team Venture 88 questions for 2 different PPR rosters. Need 2 receivers, Cooks, Hollywood Brown, or Boyd. Let's start there. So you need 2, Cooks, Hollywood Brown, or Boyd.
I'm getting absolutely sick with Hollywood Brown this week.
Yes.
He's the must start. He could go absolutely unconscious in the game today. I would just be very, very nervous if I would. One thing, a segment I've always thought about doing, or a piece of content, or just a bit on the radio is, which guy are you most fearful to face this week in your fantasy league? I just think that's so interesting because kind of takes the other side of the perspective. And Hollywood Brown is a guy I'd be very, very nervous to look over across my matchup and see on my opponent's roster this week. So I'm getting Hollywood in this week. And then Brandon Cooks or Tyler Boyd.
They're back-to-back on the rankings, literally, with Cooks 1 spot ahead.
PPR, you got to go Boyd, don't you?
I love Tyler Boyd.
You got to go Boyd in PPR, and then Hollywood is your big nuclear weapon for the big play over Brandon Cooks this week.
Now, what do you think about Godwin, Byron? We've been getting questions all morning about Chris Godwin. So we have a Hollywood Brown versus Godwin versus Woods. Need 1. Again, would you go Hollywood here?
Yeah. I'm getting real sick with Hollywood Brown.
Okay.
By the way, Matt, you look which evil supervillain do you look like right now, man?
I don't know, but look at this. Just to flex on you a little bit.
I don't know if it's DC here. I think it's DC. DC's kind of dark. I don't think
it's the Doc Ock glasses. Sure. That's what it is. It's those Doc Ock glasses.
Hey, whatever it is, it's working for me, baby. Ty Derry, pick 3. James Conner, LaShawn McCoy, Kerryon Johnson, Edelman, or Burkhead. And now we know Burkhead was one of the just prime topics this week on the trade cast. But we got 3 flexes here. James Conner, LaShawn McCoy, Kerryon Johnson. I think this, we love Edelman. He's a little banged up, but we got 3 running backs here with in high, opportunity games here, Byron.
Yeah, I kind of took a contrarian approach within our internal rankings on Connor this week. I mean, I I get why folks think it's a breakout spot. I don't hate him, but I need to see it first, man. I need to see it first when I have other good options. So let's start there. The obvious guy to me is Kerryon Johnson.
Yep.
Pretty sure I'm getting LaShawn McCoy in that matchup. And, we've seen it's an odd – usually you don't have the running back one correlation on two teams in the same matchup. But I don't know, man. Everything else says I want all the players I can get in that KC-Detroit matchup. So give me LaShawn McCoy. Give me Kerryon Johnson. And then at that point, I think you have to play James Conner. So get your 3 running. That's a sick – Are you kidding me? Pick 3 flex and you're rolling out 3 starting running backs. I like it.
Well, yes, it's the Monday night game, right? So it's just that that last dagger in your opponent's back. I love it.
Yeah, we love. Yeah, like you said, we love the Monday night hammer. That's big, sick action.
No, not Kevin. Be Ollie here. PPR Sutton, Curtis Samuel, or Allen Robinson here.
You guys are so damn funny. I'm playing Curtis Samuel.
What's so funny about us, Byron? What's so funny
not you
here?
guys. Just it's funny to see how maniacal and cockamamie people are about their fantasy teams. But it's why we do what we do. It's exactly how we are, right? It's so fun to see that everybody else feels the same way.
Yes, this is it, guys. Hey, nobody is doing a show like we are doing right now, guys. We are here 2 hours. 2 hours in the morning. So while you guys are on a game day edition over at SiriusXM, we are here answering all the start-sit questions that you guys can't get to because, man, in that 1 hour, it's absolutely jam-packed going over every single game. And then, Byron, you double duty. You come right on here and you get sick with the maniacal Roster Watch Nation. And we here are just creating gold. And we got Curtis Sam. We have to go Curtis Samuel this week, right?
I love Curtis Samuel, and I was pleased to see that Kyle Allen didn't really look like too much of a downgrade for him. I mean, as a matter of fact, that might be one of his safety blankets, a guy who can catch the ball a little closer to the line of scrimmage and still do some damage afterwards for your young quarterback. So, Sutton is an interesting one if Ramsey doesn't go. I'm a Cortland Sutton owner as well, but I really like Curtis Samuel. I think he's a solid play here this week.
All
and
right,
by the way, guys, quickly, Matt, for all of those that have joined us today and that enjoy this content and like what we do, please, Roster Watch Nation, mobilize, unite, and come subscribe to the Roster Watch podcast over on Apple Podcasts. It's the Roster Watch podcast. Please come subscribe, and if you can, leave a good rating and a review. We are giving away free annual Roster Watch Pro memberships to those who leave glowing reviews over there on Apple Podcasts. But most importantly, even if you can't or don't want to leave a review or rating, please subscribe to the Roster Watch podcast on Apple Podcasts. We're putting out 3-4 exclusive podcasts a week during the season. And this is the manifestation of this is where everything culminates. Our year every year really starts in January in the off season. And so all of this knowledge that we've obtained through all of our travels and travails of the off season and meeting all the rookies and scouting all the teams, going to the training camps, talking to coaches, this is where it all really comes out, so you can hear all of that on the podcast all week long, the Roster Watch podcast over at Apple Podcasts. Anyways, let's fire through, guys. Let's get these.
Okay, here we go. We're going to just fire right on through. Jennifer says, thanks, guys. She was going with Fitz. Well, of course you were, because you are a part of Roster Watch Nation here. Andrew Carasquillo, would you trade Sony Michel and D.D. Westbrook for David Montgomery?
Fuck yes, all day, every day. As a matter of fact, I helped my brother engineer a trade for David Montgomery in his very competitive league. He plays with a bunch of attorneys in San Antonio in a competitive league, and they're always trying to swindle each other. I got him to trade. He traded Allen Robinson and another receiver of about that ilk or a little bit less for David Montgomery to the Montgomery owner. So that guy had Montgomery on the bench this week in a bad matchup and was short at wide receiver and deep at running back. My brother needed a running back. We'll see what happens. We'll see if Nagy really commits to showcasing and featuring him. But, the underlying information you guys would find out if you come listen to the podcast during the week, where we really walk you step by step through your season and we make it easy to win. You would notice that David Montgomery, as opposed to like a Miles Sanders, who maybe his snap counts haven't been rising the way we'd like, even though his fantasy production is. David Montgomery's fantasy production, his touches, his snap counts are all rising in unison. And, we'll see. This is an important week. If that continues this week, I think we can be pretty safe that David Montgomery on a trajectory to be like a nice RB2.
Wheels up for David Montgomery towards the rest of the season. Andrew Carasquillo, again, biggest boost in cash, 3.7 thousand for Richardson, or Quinn at 3,000. Now, I've been touting Quinn as a pickup for a couple weeks here because I believe they're going into Miami next week, which we just love that sick matchup for the receivers over on the Washington team. So this week now with McLaurin out, Byron, is it 3.7 thousand for Richardson or Quinn at 3,000?
Yeah, my mom has actually gotten extremely maniacal in the RosterWatch Listener League, the Cockamamie Business League.
Yeah.
And she has a litany of injuries and bye weeks this week. I'm actually about to have to text her right now that she needs to go pick up Trey Quinn to get a trash man play into her lineup. I guess it's a tough call. If all things are pretty even, I'm going to go with the cheaper guy who's beating the targets, and that's a golden son, Trey Quinn.
Trey Quinn is a golden son, and so am I, Byron. I am a golden son, which I also tried to trade your mom. Your mom in the Cockamamie Business League has Melvin Gordon. I tried to swindle her for a Miles Sanders and a Robbie Anderson, of which I am sure you told her, don't let the old Flex Network Matt swindle you for a Melvin Gordon, for a Miles Sanders. I tried to swindle her, Byron. Sorry about that. I apologize. Nathan Lee.
I'm the firstborn in the family, Matt, so always got to look out for your mom.
Nathan Lee, or Leah, 18-man half-point PPR. Trey Quinn or Dontrell Inman.
This Dontrell Inman thing is hilarious this morning. I want to say Trey Quinn, but I could see why I have a blind spot to some kind of Dontrell Inman today. That thing is screwed up with the Chargers. They're down to Keenan Allen and Dontrell Inman. So
they're down to Austin Eckler for a mega throbber.
I think, man, maybe in this case, it's a little counter to what I want to do, but in this case, I buy into Phillip Rivers, the better quarterback, just the better offense, and let's hope that Dontrell Inman just gets a big play or two. That's a very tough call, but
all right,
maybe
Byron,
I go with Inman.
I know we only got probably 5 to 10 minutes with you here, so we're just
let's go.
Okay,
let's go 5 questions here.
5 questions. Then here we go. Anthony McDaniel, Cobb or Sutton PPR. Gallup out. Cobb didn't look too good last week. Devin Smith with a 92% snap share, according to the RosterWatch snap counts, touches, and targets tool. Great tool.
I disagree that Cobb didn't really look that good. He had a 70-yard touchdown called back last week, and you think about what Tyler Lockett did against these Saints. That could easily be Amari Cooper, but in some ways, Randall Cobb reminds me a little bit of Tyler Lockett. Courtland Sutton, we have ranked 1 spot ahead of Randall Cobb. The industry has Courtland Sutton about 10 spots above Randall Cobb. If Jalen Ramsey is out, let's definitely get in on Courtland Sutton. If he plays, I could consider a pivot to Randall Cobb, who I think is in kind of a sweet breakout spot. But I'd say for now, if it looks like Jalen Ramsey's going to sit, let's roll Courtland Sutton.
I will get to some of the questions I skipped just because I don't need to be taught. We don't need to be asking a QB question when you've already got 2 here. Jeff Craig says he used the cheat sheet this offseason to draft, and he is extremely happy. Of course, all of you would be if you went over to RosterWatch and grabbed a pro membership. It is not only the most inexpensive membership in all of the fantasy industry, but also the cheat sheet. The draft cheat, the maniacal, magical, the mystical, the mythical cheat sheet, where all you do is just draft down a list, and it's
you can't escape the secret sauce because it's magical and it's mystical.
And it is the perfect way to leverage against ADP, and Jeff Craig used it, and he is happy. Adam Roy here, Julian Edelman versus John Smokey Brown here. Good question, Byron. What do you got for us?
Yeah, Alex and I kind of offline decided that in this matchup, we're not thrilled with any of the receivers, but we're more interested in the slot receivers in this matchup, so give us Edelman.
Boom.
Okay, let's see here. Thank you, guys. Mike Evans or Calvin Ridley?
Who's that? Oh,
That's
here we go.
Ty
Jeez.
Derry.
And the reason he's asking this is because Mike Evans has a horrible matchup on paper. You saw Aqib Talib do a pretty good job on Odell Beckham, but I mean, even when you hate Mike Evans in his matchup, you have to have him as like a low end. It's one of those ones where you're almost forced to play him, and you hate the situation. But he's a low end wide receiver one. I just don't see how Calvin Ridley coming off of one target. It could be a get right spot, but how do you bench? How in the world do you bench Mike Evans for Calvin Ridley, who is basically a low end wide receiver 2, high end wide receiver 3?
Yeah, we getting a couple quarterback questions here. I hate to go over them, but should you pick up Brissett when he owns Matt Ryan and Phillip Rivers, or should I get Herndon? He has Hooper.
Herndon. But no, you don't need to pick up Brissett with a balky T.Y. Hilton if you've got 2 pretty good quarterbacks, and Herndon could be a valuable tight end.
Yeah, so Team Venture 88, thanks, guys. Yeah, we really appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for all of your time this morning. John Ryan, Matt Stafford, or Jameis Winston? Pick up Brissett or Brissett.
Let's go with the quarterback rankings at RosterWatch.com. So Matt Ryan, we have as the number 11 guy. He's the number 9 guy kind of on the industry rankings. And who was the other one, Matt?
Brissett, Jameis Winston.
Forget about him. Jameis Winston, no way, man. No way.
Stafford against KC. They're undefeated, Byron.
Oh, so he's got that option too? So it's between Matt Ryan and Matt Stafford.
No, it's Matt Stafford or Winston or Brissett.
I'm sorry, Matt Stafford.
Yeah, that's the easy one. Half-point PPR, Andy S. He's got Evans, Kupp, or Galladay in 2 wide receiver spots, and then the leftover wide receiver or Fournette in the flex. So half-point PPR. Fournette. 2 receivers and a flex over Evans, Kupp, Galladay, and Fournette.
I mean, this sounds so crazy, but I think you got to play Cooper Kupp.
Evans.
We're not going to have Galladay over Evans in our rankings, but I kind of think I like Galladay in this matchup. So can I go off the reservation here? If it's me right now looking at this, I'm going Cooper Kupp, Kenny Galladay, and Leonard Fournette. Those are 3 really nice players to roll out this week.
Oh my gosh, everybody's coming in here. Derrick Henry, Leonard Fournette, or Kupp? PPR.
PPR, it's probably Kupp, man. I'd like to say
Kupp,
Fournette,
right?
but I think you got to go Kupp.
Scary Terry, obviously out. Paul Richardson or Cortland Sutton?
I think I'm going to stick with Cortland Sutton, especially if Jalen Ramsey's out. If Jalen Ramsey's going to play, I could see making a pivot to Paul Richardson.
Okay,
that's an important thing to keep an eye on today.
That is, right? Last one from John Ryan, baby. Chark, or Royce Freeman, half-point PPR. Y'all are the best.
Shark, What is it? That song's crazy, man. Okay, what's the question? Let's see.
Baby
DJ
Chark or Royce Freeman.
Baby Chark. I love that.
That just became a thing.
DJ Chark. Or Royce. Guys, I really like how Royce Freeman has looked so far this season. I know he's a little banged up coming out last week. I think in the half-point PPR, you just still got to roll with the wide receiver. And DJ Chark he's had a fantastic start to the season. Good. So let's go with DJ Chark then.
All right, Byron, let's go ahead and get you out of here. We've just got too many comments. Unless you're ready for a couple more.
A few more we can probably get through real quick.
Boys, let's do 2 bonus ones, and I have to roll.
Okay, so D Favilla 1. I need to start 2 of these, 3 in a PPR. Hollywood Brown, Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry. 2 of 3.
Well, let's get Hollywood in, and then let's go with the rankings on Chubb versus Henry. Let's see, what do we have there? Nick Chubb, we've got at number 9. Derrick Henry up at 14. Boy, Chubb's got a tough matchup there. What do you guys think? Let's go. I think we should go with Derrick Henry and Hollywood Brown.
We are biased towards Derrick Henry at the Flex Network. We love Derrick.
We are completely biased.
Come on, you guys know who you're freaking talking to here, man.
Let's go with Derrick Henry. Let's get sick. He's looked good all season.
He has, man, and the industry is high on Henry this week. I don't know. I'll have to look into our rankings. We might have to give him a last-minute bump here in the rankings before kickoff. Let's go with Derrick Henry and Hollywood Brown. Last one, guys.
Okay, Derek McGrath. Starting Stafford, should I start Marvin Jones over Godwin if he's already got carry on in the flex?
Yeah, forget all about that cockamamie business and subterfuge and just go with the highest guys in the rankings is what I would tell you, Derek. So thank you for your support. You can check the rankings at RosterWatch. I like Stafford. Right now we got Godwin over Jones. I can see why we would be interested in Marvin Jones in this matchup. Boy, let's see here. So Marvin Jones, how worried are you guys about Godwin's his injury status?
I'm actually pretty worried just because of last week, obviously. But Godwin is a show pony when he's out there on the field.
Let me see Marvin Jones' snap count. I want to see his touches from last week.
Matthew Jones got a lot last week. So Marvin
83,
Jones,
9 targets. That was in the matchup with the Eagles. What do we have on the matchup tool for this matchup with the Chiefs? Let's see here.
Detroit is the 12th matchup to wide receivers this week.
Yeah, dude, I'm making an executive decision here. Let's make that Marvin Jones.
Jones.
Yeah.
Byron Lambert from RosterWatch. Follow them at RosterWatch. Byron, we thank you so much for giving the Flex Network a platform here on Sunday mornings. To us, it's wildly successful. All these comments, all these new subscribers, we just really appreciate the platform here. We're missing our boy Says this morning, but Byron, we'll let you go ahead and sign off. But again, just thank you so much from the Flex Network. We really appreciate it. And go ahead, sign off. What do you got for us?
Well, you guys are doing a good job, so thank you. And this is fun on Sunday mornings for us and for me. I think it's good content and good engagement with our community. And so hopefully everybody sees that year after year we're trying to do more for our community at RosterWatch. Every year it's something new, something more we're doing. And we hopefully have a lot more things like this in store as we go. So we ask you guys to please support all of us at RosterWatch and all the things that we do year-round around the NFL calendar to basically deploy the best product in the industry at the best price in the industry year-round. Please give us a follow on Twitter at RosterWatch. Subscribe to the RosterWatch podcast on Apple Podcasts. And, of course, join us on SiriusXM every week for free. If you have a subscription to SiriusXM Radio, join us on the podcast for free. And then you guys are always welcome to join us in the comments section throughout the week over at rosterwatch.com, where Alex and I and the Trash Man try to get in there and engage with the community and answer as many questions as possible. So thank you guys, and everybody, best of luck this week, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right, Byron, last one. Bertha, half-point PPR. Starters are Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, Chris Carson, Devontae Freeman, Mark Andrews. Should I play O.J. Howard over Mark Andrews? And who would you flex, Kirk, Metcalf, or Burkhead? Last one, half-point PPR.
So unless we hear something weird with Mark Andrews last minute, I'm playing him over O.J. Howard. And then it was Christian Kirk or who?
Or DK Metcalf or Burkhead. Half-point
That's
PPR.
Between the receivers for me. I like Metcalf, but you can't go against 11 targets a game for Christian Kirk. So let's go with
Christian Kirk. Byron Lambert, thank you so much for joining the Flex Network and co-comprising this Sunday morning game day edition of the Start Sit. Just maniacal endeavor by both of us. Byron, thank you so much. Cheers, brother. Enjoy your week 4, and we cannot wait for next week's trade cast.
Thank you guys for all the support, and thank you to all the members of Roster Watch Nation. Y'all have a fantastic afternoon. Thanks,
all
guys.
right, thank you, Byron. See you later. All right, guys, we have just 6 minutes left. Bertha, didn't mean to skip you. It was just a big, long question. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Bertha. We got you. We got you in.
Carasquillo also skipped your DFS question. Again, I really apologize. Just a big, long question. It's going to take a little bit of time.
We got a few minutes here. Let's go real quick.
But we love Marlon Mack, Tyler Lockett. I mean, I love that. McCaffrey, Paul Richardson, love that now.
Love that.
Or McCaffrey or Quinn with the Charger or with a defense like the Ravens. I mean, to me right now, it's got to be Mac Lockett.
Yeah, love that.
I just think that with the complete opportunity that Tyler Lockett is going to have today, he just go ahead, especially because I believe this question's in cash. Marlon Mack, again, opportunity, receivers, Oh, geez, guys, the comments, man, they're so awesome. So, yeah, go that. D. Favilla 1. Thanks, guys. Your show is awesome.
Thank you, D. Favilla.
Thank you. Derek McGrath, the best content on planet Earth, on the entire planet Earth. Andy S. Thanks, guys. Loving the show. Thank you so much. We probably missed a couple, and we're going to, guys, we have got 4 minutes basically left. Gerpinder, Jared Goff or Matt Stafford. We're going Matt Stafford this week, yes. I think. TS, Will Dissly or Mark Andrews. We're going to go Dissly just because of the potential injury concern, but we love Mark Andrews. Bertha, thanks, guys. You are the best. Ewalps. This show is brilliant.
My goodness.
Andrew Carasquillo. Hey, I understand. Thank you, brother, but hopefully we got it. I would say Mac Lockett for cash. Appreciate y'all addressing it. Yeah, not a problem, guys. I mean, we're here every Sunday morning. Guys, please subscribe to this channel. There is going to be more Flex Network content, more RosterWatch content. You never know if the trash man might stop by. If you're part of the nation, Ani Sridhar might stop by. You just never know. You never know if you'll catch the Flex Network with RosterWatch at the Senior Bowl this year. Who knows? Who knows where we're going to be? Okay? All I'm saying is we are going to get out of here. We were here 2 hours. My butt is just here we go again. The roster, D. Favilla, the RosterWatch Pro membership is the best value in the industry. Get it, guys. A monthly cost equal to a cup of coffee. And that's true. He's I don't know if it's a guy or girl, but 100% correct. RosterWatch Pro membership is the best value in the industry. It's Ewalp says preach. Yeah, 100%, guys. I mean, it is the best content in the industry. We are from the nation. We're in the RosterWatch listener leagues. The Flex Network has listener leagues next year when this thing is just chugging along like a champion train in a race to the greatness, just eagle in the sky. We're going to be just unleashing an incredible amount of content next year. T.S. Hollywood Brown, Demarcus Robinson, or Chark. It's Hollywood Brown.
I'm getting sick with Hollywood this week.
And thank you for the like. Everybody, if you're here, if you've been here, please subscribe to this channel. This is RosterWatch's media channel. While you do that, go over to the Flex Network's channel. Give us a subscribe there. We do a Friday night Flex Finder podcast where we pick 3 flexes that we think are going to hit. This week, I went ahead on my deep flex and went Devin Smith. Devin Smith in the Cowboys, a 92% snap share last week. Didn't have a long one, but I'm feeling it this week. So I went again with him. Also went with the Chris Thompson. Shane, who did you have again? Do you remember? Oh, yeah, it was a Curtis Samuel.
Christian Kirk and 1 Paris Campbell. Ooh la la.
Perry Campbell. Anyway, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much. Can I get an amen, brother? Yes, you can. Also, guys, just to let you know, please hashtag us with Baby Chark. Okay, hashtag Baby Chark, one of the greatest things ever to happen here.
John, we're stealing it. We're stealing it,
but you can claim it, but we're going to claim it from you, but by way of us. But thank you guys for joining in. Please, let's not go 0-4. Let's not go 1-3. Let's get the win this week, and let's just head into trade season next week from a position of strength. We are the Flex Network. We are RosterWatch Nation. Please join us Friday night for our Flex Finder podcast, and of course, next Sunday morning for another Start Sit Game Day edition. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. We are a nation.
Peace.